Hello, my name is Mercy. Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about something interesting that I found out is actually a thing. So I saw online the story about a lady got who was looking for advice. Basically, she works at a place where she cannot get pregnant unless she is married, and she was feeling like she needs to get married, but her boyfriend does not really want to get married. That's a whole red flag over there. But I mean, so aside from her and all those issues with the boyfriend, everybody was busy focusing on the boyfriend. But my question was the work environment. Anyway, so that's why I'm doing this video. I'm doing this video for us to talk about jobs and the requisition, the things that you are asked for in particular jobs. So when you do a job, when you apply for a job, I think you need to really consider the terms and conditions that you're signing up for. And what kind of a company you're signing on to work for, and what exactly are the short-term and long-term implications of what you're signing on to. I think many people tend to look at the salary and maybe the environment, the artificial environment, but they don't, and their current situation, and they don't think about long term. What happens if I stay in this job for 10 years and my situation changes? Will I still be okay with all the things that they're asking me to do? That, to me, is a conversation that hopefully one day you who is the listener is privileged enough to be able to make a decision based on that. Most people currently and are looking for jobs based on their current situation. They don't have the privilege of having to look at what does this job offer me in 10 years or in 5 years or in something like that. They don't have that privilege. But if you do have that, and you have the opportunity, the option to say no to a job, really listen to yourself, listen to what the terms and conditions are, and ask yourself, will this still make sense to me in 5 years? Will this still make sense to me in 2 years? And if it doesn't, then you can take it with the view of, okay, when this stops making sense, I'll leave. So there are companies that do have the moral clause, and the moral clause can be as easy as something like if you are caught in basically the moral clause of a company is mostly what kind of image do you project to the outside world and to show what kind of people that are there. So most of the time, especially the top management would have this, where if they are caught in a scandal, then the company doesn't want anything to do with them, and then you can be fired on those grounds. But then some companies, this extends to everybody. This extends to everybody, from the receptionist to the director to everybody. It's everybody. It's across board. And such companies can be maybe religious companies or family value companies, or anything that kind of has to maintain a moral high ground, needs to have most of these clauses in the contract. And they can be things like a woman is not allowed to have children out of wedlock. If you do, you get fired. Divorce is not allowed except in cases of, then they give the exceptions. They would not allow people who are from a different faith or something like that. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for you to work for a church if you're a Muslim, or for you to work for a mosque if you're a Christian, things like that. So they have clauses like this. And in this particular case, the woman, they are not allowed to have to get pregnant unless you're married, and married, like officially married, not living together, not in partnership, not in an arrangement, not in, traditional marriage. No, it has to be a legally recognized marriage. They need a marriage certificate. Otherwise, you get pregnant, you lose your job. And so I'm sure the salary she mentioned was actually quite a reasonable salary. And for me, I think the main reason why many people focused on that was because the salary was actually good. Many people don't focus on the fact that maybe when she wanted the job, a job was more important to her than family. And now, because she mentioned that she's getting on in age and her biological clock is telling her, tack, 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 So maybe she's reached a place where now it's more than just money. She doesn't want money. Well, she wants money. She wants money, but that's not all she wants. She kind of wants a family. And she's realized that her time for having the family is becoming shorter. So now she needs to start thinking. She had been at that job, I think, for 5 years, and she had been with this man for a while, and they had been engaged for a while. First of all, from experience, I know that if a guy engages you and there is no wedding date in sight, that's just him shutting you up about the marriage thing. If somebody engages you, they need to have a marriage date in sight. But I guess in her case, this was a case of just the person marrying or engaging her so that she can shut up about wanting an engagement, and then after that he can move on with his life and just keep her there. Anyway, that was not the main point of this. The main point of this was her circumstances changed. She realized that the marriage is not coming and she would still like to have a baby, probably with this partner, but they are not married. And she wants to do it, I think she also needs to realize that if the guy is not that serious, then she's going to end up being a single mother. But that's a whole other conversation. I don't think that's the conversation she wanted to have. I think the only conversation she wanted to have is, what do I do about this situation? My take is, when you take the job knowing the full rounded the terms and conditions, what it entails, why they have it, because they have these rules for reasons. I think sometimes people go like, yeah, but as long as I'm doing my job, why should they care what I do outside? No, it does make a difference. If, for example, you're a presenter of a TV show, and your TV show is about family values and things like that, and then you're caught in an adultery scandal, it does make people question everything you say, because they're like, why do we even trust what she's saying? Because she is living a different life from what she's saying. And this is what we need to realize. We need to realize that our behaviors do reflect on our employer. Nowadays, the funny thing is, when I meet people, and I find out their full names and stuff like that, I always go and look for them on LinkedIn. I try to find them on LinkedIn. I try to find out where they work and things like that. And not because I'm trying to find something negative about them, but I kind of want to get a feeling about who they are. And I know it doesn't make sense, probably, because maybe you're sitting there listening to me and going like, I don't behave anything like my coworkers. But guess what? That's what I see. Me as the outsider, that's what I see. For example, I work for an aviation company, and if I tell some, I don't like traveling. I genuinely don't like traveling. I hate aeroplanes. I don't like being in planes. I find them scary. And I think now where I work, I've learned quite a lot about safety and aeroplanes and how seriously they take safety, and it's been helpful, but I'm still not there yet. But even with that, I can assure you, when somebody sees me and we talk about what I do, I would not fault them for thinking that I like traveling, because that's what you're supposed to do when you are in my situation. So I'm an exception. Most of my colleagues that I know absolutely adore traveling. Flying does not scare them. So that's what people see, that's what people assume, and the assumption sometimes is actually more important for the brand than the reality. You've seen how people lose their jobs based on accusations, and it's not because the employers are just being mean to this. It's because what people think about your employer, what people think about the employees reflects on what people think about the employer. And that's the reason why it's very important to think and worry about what people think about you. Get what I mean? Anyway, so that's what I wanted to say. Just wanted to say that when you're looking at a contract, you're faced there with a contract. In summary, this is what I'm saying. When you're faced with a contract, look at the contract. If you are in a position to consider the long-term ramifications, especially of things like the morality clause, the dress code, there are quite a lot of things, because I'm very against this thing of you take a job and then once you're in it, now you want to start changing things, and you're like, yeah, I signed the contract, but I don't like the fact that they're telling me to wear a suit. Girl, you agreed that you're going to wear a suit. Can you wear the suit? Somebody else who would have worn that suit was rejected for the job. You took the position of that person, so behave yourself, and I guess that's just me being a big mommy. Anyway, so hope you guys have fun, and I hope that you take this as a teachable moment, and that you learn to get stuck out there. Thank you.